Alright, it's time for my obligated trailer dissection video that I, along with dozens of hundreds of thousands of other YouTubers, scramble to release as soon as humanly possible. Similar to all my other trailer breakdown videos, I'll be going
frame by frame.
Warning, there may also be spoilers because I'm a genius at solving these little under 2 minute long riddles that Disney likes to release. And before I get started, leave a like for trailer breakdowns, I guess. Also, check out the first issue of my self-published comic book, Destructo Boy. Link on the video screen right now or in the description below. Starting right off, we get a nice little flashback / evolution of Thor running through a wooded field. And holy shit, does that Kirby accurate comic suit look incredible. That's honestly my favorite part of this whole trailer. He even has the little yellow boot wrappings. It is so nice to just see a very comic accurate suit along with another fairly accurate comic suit, which is the battle armor from Walt Simonson's run, which is the best Thor run after the original Stan Lee Jack Kirby one. This running transitions to adult Thor looking similar to his post-Avengers outfit, before transitioning to a Thor moving through burning wreckage in a very sleek fur-collared cape. He's also carrying Stormbreaker. I reckon that this is Thor after the aftermath of Gore the God Butcher, because it's the exact same outfit he's wearing in a later scene with Korg. This is either possibly him uncovering the destruction wrought forth by Gore, similar to the comic, or this is New Asgard after it's attacked, which we see it under siege at the end of this video. Either way, you should check out my video on Gore the God Butcher in that little gray box that just popped up. Thor buries Stormbreaker upright like a gravestone beneath this giant wishing tree. Wishing trees are often used in various cultures as a method of prayer by writing your wish upon a paper or cloth or something and tying it to the tree. Your wish or prayer will be answered. It'll be sent out to the universe, and whoever you are sending it to, it will answer it or something. This wishing tree seems to be on the same world that we see the Guardians on. I'm just going to wildly guess that the inhabitants of this planet, specifically their god or gods, have been killed by Gore, and as such, aren't listening to their prayers. Then one of them goes up and ties a wish around this tree, and they pray to Thor. And Thor is, mentally alerted to it or something. Some way he knows there's trouble on this planet, and he leads the Guardians there, where he will begin to uncover what's been going on with these god massacres happening across the universe. Thor getting in shape, clearly from near the beginning of the film. He kind of looks like Tom Hanks in Forrest Gump when he's running from cross country. He's also using the chains of a giant imprisoned creature as battle ropes, and his hat seems to say Strongest Avenger, Strongest Avengers, or what I think it is Strongest of the Avengers. Like the of the part is sort of smaller and on the side. It's a fun hat either way. Can't wait to see it on the Disney store. I doubt that this giant skeleton plays any importance beside this training montage, but my first thought was the Gibberum from the Runaways comic, just because they're both giant aliens, but I highly doubt that. Thor and the Guardians on that aforementioned alien planet, the lighting and surrounding terrain really do match the wishing tree scenes, so I'm fully assuming that these are the same. Clearly, some sort of war has broken out as we see blaster shots and, artillery explosions, possibly some kind of, colonial invasion upon these aliens who have lesser means of technology. We see Star-Lord's new outfit, which looks quite good. I wish he would just get a comic-accurate helmet already. Mantis holding a giant space rifle, and various blue-skinned humanoids. I highly doubt they're Kree, so don't even bother saying it. This space between Mantis and Star-Lord also seems kind of like incomplete CGI. It looks like it would be the perfect spot to fit Rocket and Groot, who we see in a subsequent shot. In addition to that scene, which Thor is once more stepping into the fray, we see Star-Lord taking cover on one side of the rock, and Nebula holding a rifle on the other. The following scene must be at like a later point because Thor is now wearing his armor rather than his Guardians attire like in the previous scene. My thinking is that the Guardians arrive, they begin helping the people. Thor, once, the bad guys show up, he makes his presence known, he summons Stormbreaker, which magically forms his battle suit. Maybe one of those wishing tree scenes happens after this because he's wearing the same cloak. Maybe he sees the people of this planet, or he finds out about the dead gods and he's like, what am I really doing with my life? He starts questioning things. So he goes up to that tree and then he's called back down because the bad guys are showing up. Anyway, he summons Stormbreaker and it magically forms his battle suit around him, which is why he's in different clothes. He fights until something inside him gives up, or he realizes that, this just isn't what he wants to be really doing anymore. And assuming that this next scene is in a similar location to the previous one, I think that Thor is going to lead the charge. The blue people will have a boost of morale, and the enemy begins being driven away. The Guardians then have a quick little group meeting, they strategize, Thor shows up, doesn't really say anything, he's off kilter. Then they all, including my boy Kraglin, look at that fucking mohawk, hell yeah. They all break away and go and join the fight, but the camera instead follows Thor, who then climbs this mountain behind them, which looks almost exactly like the mountain with the wishing tree, and buries Stormbreaker beneath it. Next we see the Guardians' ship jumping into hyperspace, or whatever they call it, from this weird technicolor junk planet. It could be Sakaar, maybe? Following this scene, we do see Korg a lot more. Maybe he returned to Sakaar once everything on Earth settled down and began his revolution. I also thought it might be New Asgard once it was destroyed by Gore, but I doubt Thor would be smiling that much if it was, and that just doesn't really make a lot of sense based on the scenery. Korg also has a brand new outfit, and which, based on his belt buckle and this little lead in his hands, seems like Korg operates or possibly handles Thor's giant goats, Snarler and Grinder, or Tooth Gnasher and Tooth Grinder, whichever they decide to call him. In this scene, in the following scene, you can see Valkyrie and Korg on the hover goat boat, along with Thor and someone else, maybe Jane Foster? I can't really tell, it's too blurry. They also serve cocktails on this goat boat. Alright, hot damn. Is this a gorgeous scene. Olympus, baby. I love these aqueducts just going everywhere. That's how they travel through the city. It's just a beautifully designed piece of sci-fi. There's also this strange light moving quickly through the scene. It looks almost like Captain Marvel when she's flying around. Highly doubt it's her. It could also be maybe some kind of Bifrost technology. Maybe it's the Olympians version. Maybe it's Thor and Korg and everybody else traveling to Olympus. This following scene is interesting to say the least. Thor and a blue-haired woman sail on a boat littered with corpses past a dead giant squid. Possibly the Kraken? It's clearly a flashback. Too bad they didn't make his eyebrows blonde like in the first Thor. It's very much that the Conan story where he becomes the lover of a pirate queen. I have no idea who this woman is, if it's an existing character, maybe it's a sea goddess or a pirate goddess or something, who gets killed by Gore, and this is Thor having a flashback to her, I don't know. Or it's just Thor having a flashback to his days when he took part in journeys into mystery. I'll just list off a couple names at random. Karnilla, Queen Ula. There, if it was one of those, then I got it right. A Asgardian Viking ship heading towards Earth. At least I assume it's Earth. It looks like Earth. If that right there is North America, that would be sort of where New York is, and that would mean that this ship is heading more towards Europe or Scandinavia. It's probably a flashback of Thor and the Asgardians arriving in the 800s or something. Thor leads a ship like Rudolph. It looks like he's on his goat boat, what with the hanging lights. Background looks very cosmic. And of course he's wearing his battle armor. A massive chamber in Olympus. Zeus shows off his ultimate power from his cloud throne, and Zeus will be played by Russell Crowe. It is my personal hope that Zeus treats Thor like a son he never had, making Hercules jealous. I also hope that Thor or someone else calls Hercules Jercules. Thor and Korg celebrate in Olympus. Maybe this is after that scene where we see the streak of light flashing through, since maybe it is some kind of Bifrost teleportation thing, and they were unsure if it would actually work, and they're happy to be alive. There's a near one-to-one recreation of this panel from Jason Aaron and Asad Ribick's Thor run. This scene depicts Falagar, the behemoth's corpse, And look at this. Even the fucking blood pouring out of its face is the exact same. And you know the best part of this? It's that the writer and the artist aren't gonna get jack shit from this except for their names at the very end of the credits. This is during Thor and I guess Korg's journey to uncover Gorr's murders. Each dead god that he does find, he will discover Gorr's black berserkers, who are like goop monsters, and he fights them, so I imagine there's going to be a fight scene following this. We also have an establishing shot of New Asgard. Some children play on the rocks with a... Is that a fucking boombox? Out of this whole scene, that is the most out of place and unrealistic. There's a little, like, New Asgard tour bus with a little logo featuring Mjolnir, 4 cruise ships, this little arch over to the left. Maybe it's a theater, and we'll see Sam Neill and Matt Damon's Asgardian actor characters from Ragnarok show back up. A formal meeting of several nations' ambassadors in New Asgard. King Valkyrie sits at the head of the table. This guy has a little scone on his plate that he hasn't eaten yet. And over to the right, there's a large poster for an energy conference. In the background are Asgardians. Can you see what I did there? And Maik in a fucking suit. Maik, or Meek, I don't know, I say Maik because it sounds more alien, is actually apparently female, I think, in the MCU. So she is wearing a very fashionable business suit and skirt, as seen in this Funko Pop. Also, Valkyrie bored out of her goddamn mind from all this bureaucratic crap. Back to Olympus we go. On this bridge, we can see Jane Foss Thor is accompanying Thor, Korg, and Valkyrie. Star-Lord gives Thor a little pep talk in that colorful junkyard from before. We get a better look at whatever that is on Mantis's forehead, probably some sort of enhancer for her powers. And last but not least, Mjolnir's return, and it flies straight into the hands of Jane Foss Thor. But that's not the only interesting part. The real interesting part is that this is taking place in New Asgard during a fight by Gorr, I guess. He's attacking, or at least his black berserkers are, because we see a bunch of them in the background killing people and shit. They look like sort of big tentacle beasts. They don't look exactly like they do in the comics, at least not based off of these little clips. Maybe that was to differentiate them from the Outriders, those four-armed monster things from Infinity War. And that is it for the trailer. What I think this movie is going to be is Act 1, Thor gets in shape, the Guardians and Thor are doing stuff. Thor becomes depressed and lost, so he and the Guardians split up. This is also crossing over concurrently with Jane's cancer storyline and Gorr's murder quest. Act 2, Thor arrives back on Earth and chills with Korg and Valkyrie. Maybe the Guardians dropped off Thor on Sakaar since it was like closer than going all the way to Earth, and they have stuff to do. Then Korg and Thor head home, possibly finding the aftermath of Gorr along the way. Whatever. Maybe that happens after they all meet up. Jane goes to New Asgard before she dies. Gorr comes to find Thor. They fight. Black Berserkers attack. Jane becomes Thor. Thor is also Thor. Gorr fights Thor, and Gorr slashes Thor real gored across the face before Gorr roars away. And Thor's like, what the hell happened? Why did that weird white man with goop attack me? Because apparently maybe Gorr can shapeshift or something, who knows. So they set out to uncover the mystery fully, and the gang goes to Olympus. They learn about Gorr some more. A big fight happens. Zeus probably dies or something, so Hercules can take over his place in like a weird mirror image of Thor. And then they end the film with Thor and Thor. Maybe Thor retires to New Asgard and Thor continues to be Thor, and hopefully Beta Ray Bill is there too. That has been my trailer dissection video for Thor Love and Thunder. Let me know what you thought of it in the comments below. What are your theories and thoughts on the film? Did I miss anything? Let me know in the comments below. I will see you next time. I am edging closer and closer to what is episode 100. And again, check out Destructo Boy, Era of Alpha Cardinal, part 1 of 2 on Etsy for $9.99 physical copy or $5 digital copy. I'll see you next time. Bye.